Ladies and gentlemen, it has now come to the time that we have a conversation. I have been saying for years on this show that black men need to have a conversation, black men alone. We have got to figure out what is going on with us. This is not something that black women can help us with. This conversation does not include black women. Black women, stand down and stand to the side. Black men need to have a kumbaya amongst themselves, and I'm gonna niche this out a little more. And it's heterosexual black men. I'm gonna catch a lot of flack for this, but I'm gonna say it out loud with my whole chest. Straight black men are the cancer of the black community. That's where it starts and that's where it stops. Ladies, I'm here to tell y'all something. All this shit that y'all got going on, some of y'all, not all of y'all, with the gays and with the trans, let it go. Your issue is not a trans woman. Your issue is not a punk or not a sissy. Your issue is all of our issue. Straight black men. Straight black men are the enemy to the gays. Straight black men are the enemy to the trans. Straight black men are who are causing harm to the girls and the women. That's where it's at. Now, y'all can shoot the messenger. Y'all can call me all type of faggots on the Shade Room and all the other blog sites that's gonna pick this up and I'll eat it. But you'll never see a situation where girls and women walking around saying they scared of the gay boys. They scared of their life for the gay boys. They don't want to be around the gay boys. It ain't us going around with these fragile ass egos, can't take rejection. We've got to ask ourselves, and I don't even know if the black straight male collective can even answer this question because their egos tend to be so fragile. How is it we are raising boys with these fragile ass egos that feel it is okay to slam girls on their head for saying no? Why is it that we have to make the females of the community make all the adjustments? It's not fair. Straight black men are the cancer of the black community. Argue with your mammy.
So he wouldn't be the first one to echo these sentiments. For those of you guys who are not familiar, The Root released an article a few years ago that basically said that straight black men are the white people of black people. And it was all based upon this idea of black male privilege. And I actually did a live where I broke this down, what black male privilege is, and why I ultimately think the whole idea is bogus, because it's basically based upon this feminist ideal. It presumes that straight black men essentially aspire to be white men, and while they don't have as much privilege, still enjoy a lot more institutional privilege than black women, right? And so it's all based upon this idea. And I mean, really, when you scratch the surface, I would argue that a lot of it is narrative and a lot of it goes down to attention, but it's actually not connected to statistical realities. But nevertheless, the idea still perpetuates, and that is that, you know, black men in the black community have the most attention, that they have the most support institutionally, and that they ultimately hold the power to oppress women. It sounds as if he is echoing those ideas. And again, these are ideas that have been promoted now in the black community really since the advent of feminism in the 60s. And so they've had decades upon decades upon decades to really get into the conscious and subconsciousness of black folks. And that includes black men. And to be clear, I am not downplaying the reality that there are obviously black men and black women who experience negativity, you know, abuse, being mistreated at the hands of black men. I am not denying that. But I will challenge any belief that assumes that the collective of black men, or black women for that matter, are cancers, or that nearly 50% of the population is completely and totally unnecessary and toxic and detrimental. Because if you use the term cancer is something you want to get rid of. Cancer has no redeeming qualities. There's nothing positive. There's nothing worth saving when it comes to cancer. And that's what was used to describe, well, straight black men specifically. So this is one of the most obvious and blatant examples of misandry, unfortunately coming from the mouth of another black man. But here's another issue with the framing of this conversation. Now, this is obviously a black man, a part of the LGBTQ plus or rainbow community, who is calling himself holding straight black men accountable. See, and the problem is, from what I've observed, straight black men are not looking to men of the rainbow community to hold them accountable for anything related to manhood or masculinity. That's going to go in one ear out the other. I mean, quite frankly, it's not to say that straight black men can't be cordial with, gay black men or queer black men, but quite frankly, they put them in another category. So a lot of straight black men are going to listen to this and allow it to go in one ear out the other, but they're not going to take anything seriously as far as his complaints connected to black masculinity and what it means to be a black man. Because as far as they're concerned, he's gay, right? Or he's in a whole different community. He's in a whole different sector. His lifestyle is completely different than their lifestyle. And so they don't really have a shared experience of black masculinity. And I'm not saying that this is every straight black man, but from what I've observed, straight black men do not see themselves necessarily in the same space as, queer black men, even though they share the same gender. In some ways, they have very different experiences. And also, I would argue that there are some straight black men that actually see themselves as politically misaligned with, just gay black men or queer black men or black men of the rainbow community. They see themselves as actually politically misaligned, partially because of the open misandry that, black men from the queer community can actually display about their own gender. And listen, y'all can think it's wrong. Y'all can think it's misandrous, or you can think it's closed-minded, or you can think whatever you can think. But I'm just, from what I've observed, I think automatically there's going to be a lot of black men who put him in a category. Now, the other issue I have with this rant is that, again, this is all narrative, and this is all based upon his own personal experience, it sounds like. And I am not opposed to, a person sharing their experience or even being honest about the trauma they've had. But what I caution against is someone taking their own lived experience and then now using that as a way to judge and come to wrong conclusions about the black male collective. And the way that he's framing it, even the things that he said about violence, the things he said about a lack of emotional regulation, and this idea that black women are scared of black men. I'm sorry, but black women collectively, I do not believe are scared of black men. Because have y'all heard the way that black women talk to black men? Have y'all heard that? And do y'all know black women? Like, can we really sit here and pretend that all these black women out here with all the attitude, with all the energy in the world, okay, with all of the aggressive energy in the world, these boss babes, y'all really think these women are over here being beat up, docile, don't know how to protect themselves? Like, really? Like, we all know black women. Like, we all know that black women can be very aggressive and can hold their own. So, I'm not saying that there aren't cases of DV in the black community. Obviously, there are. But we also understand that, like, DV in the black community is bidirectional. And yes, women initiate violence more than men. Like, we've covered this off multiple times and on my channel alone. I'm not even the only one. So I'm just saying, like, this old tired framing that black women collectively are like these really docile, gentle, vulnerable beings that just are, at the mercy of these belligerent, violent, overpowering black men. I'm like, really? If y'all know black women, y'all know black women are not scared of black men. Because if they were, they sure as hell wouldn't talk to them the way they do. They wouldn't be constantly berating them online, shaming them, talking about, they wouldn't have the attitude and the energy that they openly display to black men and to the public about black men. So even this idea of black women going around being so afraid, I'm like, they're not afraid of black men. They're really not. Okay. But even, like I said, the conversations around DV, they're never framed based upon anything other than anecdotal experience. And I'm not here to take away a person's anecdotal experience. It is important to address that, but that experience needs to be taken into context of what's actually going on. Just if you're a black man, let's say he's a gay black man, and let's say he's had situations of being bullied by black men. That I'm not saying that that's right. That doesn't mean that now therefore all straight black men are going to be bullies, right? He mentioned homicide, right? Which yes, that is a problem with the black community, but by and large, homicide is still something that the minority of people experience. Less than 1% of Americans are unalived by homicide. You know what I mean? So we also can't make the conclusion that all black men are going around just homiciding each other. And then also, again, if we want to talk about DV and violence, we have to include women in that situation because black women are also violent. Period. In the discussion. Because black women also express violence. So that's what I'm saying. It's like these just conversations, they really become a problem when they devolve into, man bad, woman good, or man is always a villain, woman victim. Like it's just such a poor framing. And all it does is ultimately continue to promote old historical tropes that have been going on for centuries now. At one point, it was connected to racism and white supremacy, but quite frankly, now white folks ain't got to do much of anything. Black folks are are going around promoting these same old tired tropes, and we can't even really blame it on anybody but ourselves. And I think this is just a prime example, in my opinion, of someone who may actually have been deeply traumatized or had very, very negative experiences with black men. Perhaps maybe because he was gay or openly gay, and maybe he was teased as a result, but then has come to conclusions on the Sandry that he was likely fed by society, not things that he necessarily naturally him, came up with himself, but more like him having trauma and having his own negative experiences, and then existing in a society or existing in spaces where there are already these ideals and tropes about how negative black masculinity is. Then it's easy for you to come to the conclusion and just promote these ideas, but it's not actually a reflection of what's really going on. Let's not also act like black women cannot also be homophobic, because think about the amount of times when a black woman gets mad at a black man, he does something she don't like, turns him down, whatever. The first thing she does is call him gay, and that not as a compliment, but as an insult. So, like I said, if we really want to talk about homophobia, it also exists among black women. But the point is, black men, straight black men are not cancers. Yes, there are issues that straight black men need to hash out. I am not opposed to that, and I am not here to act like that's not the case. But I don't know that straight black men are going to look to a gay man to hold them accountable. I just don't think that's going to be the way. I think if straight black men want to have conversations and want to deal with some of the different things that he addressed, it's going to actually have to be done among themselves, and they're not going to be encouraged to do that through shaming or insults or just through blatant hatred. But anyways, y'all, that's what I have about this whole thing. What do you think? Do you agree or do you disagree? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.